And today we got our special guest today, Tarot Prose. Yes!
Hi.
Yay! And you can feel free to jump on anytime.
All right, let me open this in another window.
You can hear myself.
Yeah. All right.
Not everything's perfect.
All right.
We always got imperfect things sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. Yeah, like. Hi, Creative Coffee.
Hey, Creative Coffee. How are we doing today? I got some questions in, but I'm not. I am not. R1 speaks, everyone. I do have some pre-written questions, but I don't know how many we're going to get through, because I know that if we could get rambly or something on a deck or something, it would be like,
yeah,
get a little crazy.
Yeah,
a little off topic. I have been reading your blogs, Ivan.
Thank you.
I have been reading your. You get some really cool stuff in your blogs.
Thank you. Yeah, for those who don't know, my blog is tarotprose.com.
Yeah, I got the links down below, I think. Okay, I got everything down below. So I got the website. I think I hope you don't mind. I copied and pasted from one of your videos, and I just kind of took the time to
it's fine.
put it down below.
Why it's there. That's why it's there.
I just wanted to make sure all those links and stuff are down below for everybody who's jumping on, but I don't think there's going to be one person that haven't at least heard of you. So,
thank you.
Yeah, I think you were somebody that I even knew way back in early 2016, 2000. When I was starting to get really back into the tarot again. Doing the filming and stuff.
Yeah, I started my blog, I think in early 2016.
I think that's when I really first started seeing your posts on Instagram. You got the pretty pictures. You're the one with the pretty pictures.
Thank you.
Dinner smells really good, Greeno.
You need to share with us, Greeno.
I know. I had some of that with a really good Thai soup, my mom made. She makes really good knockoff Oriental food. Ooh. I love it. I know, it's really good. Very good. Yes. So I think everybody has one question on their mind. What's your favorite color?
I can't say I have a favorite. I guess I like purple. Purple is is a really, really good color. But
I like purple too.
It's funny, my brand colors though are gold and a dark green. Because I don't know, I didn't want to incorporate the purple. It wasn't Tarot Prose to me.
I gotcha.
But
I think.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, I'm just that purple is the color that I reach for when I want to be calm, or I want to feel secure and safe. Purple is that color.
Oh, that's a really nice color for purple too. Purple is always that royal color to me. The royalty color to me.
Yeah.
Mine is red. I don't think anybody knows that at all.
Red's a good color. I'm wearing red.
Yeah, let's say red. You live in New York somewhere, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I live in the East Coast. Yeah.
I do too. I live in Virginia.
Oh, okay.
We live in the mountains up in Virginia somewhere. Somewhere. We're from somewhere.
We're from somewhere, yeah. Somewhere.
And so it's really, really cold lately. I think if anybody is from the southern hemisphere or at least south of Georgia, I think, you're okay. But in the northern hemisphere right now, we're in like below negative numbers and
Wow.
single digits and stuff right now. It's crazy. And I see that little light sweater on you, and I'm going, eek.
Yeah, well, it's cold here. Not that cold though. Our pipes froze yesterday, so that was like a freaking mess. Way to start the new year, but they're working again. Like, so that's good.
That's really good. I know that it got really, really cold last night and the night before, I think. It was really, really cold.
You're in upstate New York.
Oh man, the green owl. Oh, I feel for you. It's probably in the negative numbers there. No,
Man, yeah.
I don't do that. It's in the 20 degrees right now here in Virginia, and I'm like, ah!
I haven't even checked, but let me check. Hold on. Like the weather here. We are in Yeah, okay, it's not that bad, I guess. It's 28 degrees Fahrenheit. Like I can't complain.
Yeah,
So like
27
so around the same, yeah.
Yeah, that's not that bad. It was better than it was a few days ago. Green Owl wants to know what's the favorite Oracle deck. Go ahead.
My favorite Oracle deck would have to be Psy cards. Give me 1 second and I will go get them.
All right, he will go get them, and I'll pull out my favorite Oracle deck too.
I should have been prepared.
Well, it's okay. My chats are never prepared. If anybody who's followed my chats at all, they know that I'm never prepared for anything.
This is the Psy cards deck.
Oh, I should flip my camera onto you. Hold on. Yeah, there we are. I got it.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful. It's a really beautiful.
Oh, those are pretty. Those are very, very pretty.
It's simple. You wanted to see the Psy cards? Look, we're on the same page. Like.
Oh my goodness, it's kind of like that, almost like that German look.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of what's like Kipper, but not really.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a really beautiful deck. It's simple. Another reason why I like it is because it has like yes and no cards. And like that's like the common question that being a reader, people ask like yes, no, maybe, and it has the cards in here for that. Like that's the yes card. So it's a really good deck. I like it.
I do too. It looks really pretty. All right, let me take off and put it back onto sharing for a second because I think my microphone gets louder sometimes. I get one of these ice cube phones thingies.
I have the same one.
You do?
Yeah.
And sometimes and so I speak louder because it's like right there. And so I have to take it off of sharing mode and click your icon.
Yeah.
But my favorite Oracle deck right now, I think Tiger's Abyss would hate me, but it's the Oracle of Oddities. I got both.
Oh my god, yes.
It's the first and third edition together, and I think my new camera's been working. Green Owl, my new camera's been working, so you can actually really see the images now. Versus before, it's like, you maybe could see the images, but now you can really see the images. But you kind of have the shiny stuff on the screen.
Yeah, the freaking glare. Like,
yeah, the glares are terrible with the computers. Computer glare is like, you can never win, but you could definitely see the beauty of the cards a little bit better.
I love that. I love that deck. I have all 3 editions, and like I was like, I'm so invested. Like I cannot. Like when I got the first one, I was like, I can just not get the last two. Like there was no way.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I got the first one because of uh the hurricane relief
Yeah.
whatever
Mhm.
promotion that she was doing with the first edition.
Yeah.
And so I quickly jumped right on it and got like one of the last copies of the first edition that she was re-releasing. And so I was so fortunate to get that because I got the third edition and really fell in love with it. I actually did some really cool photography work, speaking of photography, that Tarot Prose does. Did some really cool photography work up in Monticello, Virginia, where Thomas Jefferson lives, and Mulberry Row. They had all that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful greenery, the lights, and the sky. It was so beautiful, magical. I have to. I don't think it will show up at all on my phone if I tried to show you, but it's on my phone somewhere in my Instagram page.
Yeah, I'll check. Oh my god, me too. Create a coffee. I didn't. I mean, I guess I could say I tolerated Rider-Waite-Smith, because I had the plaid back one, like the really sticky, like overly laminated one. But then when I got the Centennial, I fell in love. Also because I'm a freelance photographer, like taking photos of this deck is such a dream versus like anything that's really laminated because you'll always get glare. This because they're kind of matte, it's so good. It's so good to photograph.
You want to see something that will make you jealous?
Oh my! So I have the German version, and
I have the English edition.
And Simon, blame Simon. Like I've been trying to get it, the English version, ever since Simon was posting on their channel, and I just can't find it.
Oh, look at this! I got it!
Oh, it's gorgeous! It's so beautiful.
Oh yeah, and you see my face and not the cards. Yeah, focus camera. That's the only problem I have with this camera. It doesn't focus on the cards. It will focus on my face.
You have a Logitech?
Yeah, I got the Logitech.
Me too. And like, I think it doesn't focus on like on anything. It's so bad.
It's actually a very good camera, but it's actually my brand new web camera for my live chats, but it doesn't. Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah, there.
It focuses on my face, but not on the cards. Yeah. Oh, she loves my sweater. This is a Patagonia. This is one of my splurges when I was working at Dick's Sporting Goods. You get workers discounts, like a 20% off discount.
Ooh. Yeah, I disabled face tracking, because like I have a tripod like on my table right now. Like this is how I'm filming, and even if I go like this, right, it's not gonna focus at all. Like there's no way.
Yeah, and it will focus background or that you're pretty cup, but not on the face.
Yeah, and I'm just like, and I'll do it right here, but like then you can't see the card. It's just, I don't know.
But yeah, my LG Tech web camera is like a Christmas present from my dad to me kind of thing. So I was hoping to do have this LG Tech camera as a way to do live painting videos and talk about tarot and spirituality while I did it kind of stuff. And that was kind of the idea behind it.
I love that. Yeah. Speaking of painting, I'm anticipating your damn deck. Like,
oh yeah. Oh my goodness. It's downstairs out of all places. I actually been meaning to bring it upstairs too, which is funnier for this live chat. I was meaning to bring it up here just in case we brought it up. and just that is like that one deck that I forgot to bring upstairs. Dang it! I got like sample copies from MakePlayingCards.com, but I am kind of knocking them around and stuff and seeing how they wear and tear and see if I want to change the cardstock at all or whatever the case is.
No, that's
the
fair.
Coloring and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's smart. 'Cause I feel like that's like the main thing that like with deck creators when they do get the test copy is like making sure the stock is right and making sure the color is correct, because like sometimes the color on your screen is not the color that comes out on the card. Because not everyone has like a screen that has like 100% Adobe RGB coloring.
I
So
was
it could be
trying to see
difficult.
if I had my first test copy down over here.
Look at all those decks though. Like
Oh, look at them. They're beautiful. Okay. All right. Where did they go? Oh, nope. They were organized once. Eh. Can't find it right now, so I think it's somewhere. I don't know where I put it. Dang it, I should have got it from downstairs. But
It's
you
fine.
were crushing over my marshmallow Marseille the other day.
Yeah, like it's in like to be honest, it's in my Etsy cart right now. Like I'm waiting to take the plunge. Like
I actually took it with me to Boston about 2 weeks ago because I wanted a Marseille deck that was kind of travel size, because I have a lot of Marseille decks, actually. I'm a Marseille deck enthusiast.
ooh, yes.
And this is just I don't have really that I feel comfortable doing travel size or anything like that. So here is some images of the Mishmaloo.
It's gorgeous. It's so
It's so
pretty.
beautiful.
Yeah,
I'm
it's in my
surprised you would
cart.
not get that Playing Marseille by Ryan Edwards, or is it too expensive?
I mean, like I want to, but like I have like I'm gonna be real. I have so many decks like on my wish list. Like it's bad. It's so bad. And I'm trying to be good this year because I was looking at like I have a deck budget and a blog budget, and like I was calculating my numbers last year and I'm like, oh no, like what did I do?
I have a really bad budget for that stuff too, so it's been terrible.
Yeah, and like what I try to do though is if I know like a deck is like limited edition or just like not gonna be in print anymore, I try to get those first. Um and then like it always trickles down to like the easy accessible ones, like things from Amazon. But you know, decks always have like that. It's available, and then like 2 weeks later, it's gone.
I do the same thing, honestly, especially with Kickstarter campaigns. Like the True Black Tarot, I don't think it will ever be accessible ever again, and I was able to jump on that campaign. Yay!
Yeah. Yes.
And I was afraid that what was it? The Bone Stone Tarot was going to be the same way, but she ended up releasing more editions or more.
Yeah, I saw
card.
that. I backed it up. I pre-ordered that one too.
I pre-ordered that one because it will be Merry Christmas to me next year, this coming Christmas.
Exactly. Yeah. I think like we're all gonna like do an unboxing like collectively. Like,
oh yes. That's like my second favorite Oracle deck. If to finish up the Oracle deck question, is my second favorite Oracle deck is the Oracle of Echoes. That one is another one that I really
gorgeous. Enjoy. Yeah, that one's really beautiful.
It's there.
I know, like I was doing Ethany's challenge, and like one of them was like your deck collection or your deck storage or something, and I'm just like, I'm gonna have to clean all these shelves like before I do that video.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you, because this is my shelf and everybody's just kind of like, ooh, all the decks, and I'm like, yeah, but I can't find any of them to save my life that we're talking about.
I know, like, people are like, how do you organize them? And I'm just like, however they fit stacked up. Like like that's
yeah,
like
that's kind of how it is right now. And I actually got to still do day 2 prompt, but I was thinking I could sneak that in after this chat sometime.
Yeah, do it. Do it.
So the top 2 Oracle, not Oracle decks. It's the top tarot decks for me for 2017. I think I already have an idea what those 3 would be. I think I was gonna do 3 decks like you did. I saw your video and I went, yeah, I think I'm gonna do 3 too.
I mean, like I was gonna do like 6, but I'm just like, so like let's be real. So like I was gonna do 6, but like there was like so much noise outside. I'm like, okay, I gotta stop filming. But I'm like, no, 3 is fine. There's no way I'm gonna film 6. Like.
Well, and I think that sometimes with these deck challenge videos and stuff, you really want to be under 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's like so important to me because like okay, so YouTube is amazing that they created this feature where you can speed up videos 2 times, which is great. Like that's kind of what I'm doing, like speeding up people's videos 2 times so I can get through them. Like I still want to enjoy them, but like if you count, let's say you're watching 60 videos that are 10 minutes long, there's no way you're going to be able to do that. Like that's a lot.
It is a lot. It is a whole lot, and it's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Like for like live streams like this, like I obviously they should be long, but like when you're doing the video, you know, that's another reason why I create like a table of contents on my video, because like if you want to skip to one specific part, go right ahead. Like
that gets me to the one of my questions that I didn't write down, but I am like itching to know. Are you a Virgo somewhere in your charts?
Okay, so I will link you my chart after this chat, but like so like I like to say like I'm triply fucked because I'm a Pisces sun, I'm a Pisces moon, and I'm a Pisces rising. You know, like,
you are got the Pisces everywhere. I love Pisces men though.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Pisces men are so they kind of have that what's it, Knight of Cups-ness about them.
Yeah,
almost.
yes.
They're very emotional, they're very in touch, but sometimes when they are crazy, they're really crazy. That's why I can't seem to keep them.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, what's wet? I'm reading the chat and I'm like going, oh. Oh, your chart is very wet.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I got you. Well, my chart is crazy too, but I have my moon in Gemini. And my sun is in Aries. And my my Mercury's in Pisces. So, and I'm Pisces rising too. So, oh my goodness. That's why I am such a tarot person and kind of whatever's in a way, but it kind of makes sense. But
that. Yeah,
the Aries is definitely like the red and the bold colors and the bold decks and the very daring topics sometimes in my live chats. Yeah, I mean, and then I got people egging me on constantly, and I am fall victim to that very often.
No.
I had one comment, and I'm gonna call you all out because you're all on my. No, I love you all. You guys are family to me. But I posted my what was it? My day 1 challenge on the 31 days of tarot, and I made one small comment of celebrating the new year with beer and stuff, and I couldn't make it to the live chat, the counting down the new year, because I had too much to drink. And everybody just went fired up in the comments about hangovers and stuff like that. I'm like, oh. It was funny, but it was like, oh. I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh man, I shouldn't have said anything. I love you guys, but you guys are the worst enablers ever for that. Thanks. So Green Owl is a Scorpion Sun, Leo Moon, and Libra Rising. I can see that. Okay. Let's do a few questions that I have written down in my scribble notebook. I totally set myself over for the hangover comments for sure. And how did you start doing tarot, and how long and when, basically?
Okay, so when I started doing tarot, I guess I was a child. So coming from like a culturally diverse background, divination, tarot, like reading cards was accepted and, you know, appreciated in my household. So I started reading cards at a very young age, and my two grandmothers showed me how to read cards, and it was just something that I picked up. I would read like fortunes for like the cartoon characters, like on TV, or like my favorite, you know, my favorite book characters, things of that nature. I would just, you know, wanted to just know the future. So it was like always it was always accessible to me as a child, and it never really left me. Like I started with playing cards, then the internet happened, and I would go on like I don't know if you remember like those AOL chat room things.
Yeah,
and, like,
I remember those AOL.
and like they had like a mystical something, and I would do readings there. So it was, you know, it was always in my life, and yeah, like tarot and divination have always been in my life, and I guess I never stopped. I've been a collector though of like decks since I guess I was 13 years old. Wow. We won't talk about my age now, but like, but yeah. So I've been a collector for a little while, and I just love it. Like I love seeing the different art and interpreting it, and being a reader, and also being a learner. So that's my story with tarot.
I would guess by your hands there, I would say you're probably in your early 30s ish.
Okay.
You're gonna say, okay.
We're close to the same age.
Okay, we're close to the same age. Okay. Yeah. It's all right if you don't put your age out here. They call me a youngin, or Zach is the youngin actually in our community. He's such a baby. He's so cute. I love Zach. He's so sweet and adorable.
Yeah, Zach is awesome.
All right. So, what got you to do writing and photography? I'm more interested in your writing because that's what you're really known for, is your blogs.
So, okay. So, I had another blog before Tarot Prose. I would do like a lot of writing there, but like I was bullied a lot on that blog, so I let it go, and I wanted to incorporate tarot and poetry and prose together. So I'm just like, you know what? Let me create Tarot Prose. And when I did, I still had like naysayers like tarot and prose, like how would that work? Like no one liked it. Like no one's just like, this is horrible. What are you doing? So I spent a lot of time just writing for myself. Like I wanted the blog to just be for me. And from that moment on, you know, I got a following. People were just like, oh, like I like what you're doing. I like that you're unapologetically yourself. And, you know, 2 years later, now in the community that I'm in, there's people writing poetry and tarot, like, and like before that I was like, you don't do that, like what is that? And like that makes me really happy. With the photography, I've always loved taking pictures, but I was always fascinated like taking pictures of my cards, because that's a way that I bonded with them. Like because like some of my decks can be like narcissistic little shits. And like they want to be like center of attention. So I started incorporating my photography of my cards with my poetic prose, and it just was a perfect marriage. Yeah, and then I started with just, you know, poetic prose and poetry, and then it started me becoming comfortable with my tarot practice, that I, you know, started doing informative posts and things of my experience. Like I have a post about tough tarot topics of being bullied, or tough tarot topics of racism within the tarot community and things of that
I
nature.
read that one.
So
The racism.
like, thank you. Yeah. Tarot like really helped me step out of my shell and be comfortable in my voice.
I have to say that racism one actually made me cry. It was very personal, and it just was like very touching that you don't realize the negativity in your own community, because I feel like this is a very good community that we're a part of on YouTube and on For the Love of Cards and stuff. That I think for the most part we are part of a very nice community, but it just kind of was astounding and hurtful just to hear that there was people like that in our own community, or what we consider to be in our own community of people.
Yeah, and
go on.
It was difficult. I was scared like to post it, but I you know, because like when you make a post like that, there's gonna be backlash, no matter what. And I had to prepare myself. I talked with my parents. I talked with my group of friends. I talked with another Facebook group, and you know, they really encouraged me and said like, this has to be said. Like, you can't, you know, keep this under wraps. And when I posted it, I got some negative feedback, of course, but the other type of feedback that I got was like overwhelming support and love, and opening that dialogue and that conversation. I think is something that needed to be said. Is something that's very important within our community, that sometimes we just sweep under the rug and we don't talk about it.
Yeah, we do have skeletons in our closet in our community, and we could talk a little bit about that, because I feel like that's something we kind of have in common too, that I could talk about with you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like I just found that with tarot, as I was moving forward with the blog, that, you know, I just wanted to come into my own and just speak about my experiences, and it wasn't a way to overshadow or talk over anyone else's experiences, but I just wanted to be like, hey, this is what I've been going through. If you've dealt with something similar, or you dealt with something in that regard, you know, maybe you can speak up as well, or maybe you can learn to be an ally to those who are dealing with this. That was pretty much it.
Yeah, but yeah, it was very touching. Because it gets to one of my other questions that I have here. That's why I said we could talk a little bit more about this, and I guess I'll skip to that question. Is what do you think of our community? Are we evolving and being spiritually evolving as a community, or we're being stagnant in our community? And what is your view on that?
So I wouldn't say that we're being stagnant. I think the thing with the tarot community is there's so many communities within a community. Like I'm part of now, like graciously, I'm so happy to be here. I'm part of the YouTube tarot community, but I'm also part of the Facebook tarot community, the Tumblr tarot community. So there's many communities within our large community, and I can't safely say that we're stagnating or moving forward. I think within each of us, creating this bigger picture of who we are as individuals helps shape what the community is going to be in the long run. So I can't say that, you know, as a collective we're stagnating, because that wouldn't be fair. But I also can't you know, say, yeah, we're all being progressive and moving forward, when that can't be the case for everyone. You know what I'm saying? So I think as a collective though, I think like I just started my YouTube, you know, channel, and everyone's been so nice and kind and supportive, and like I feel the love. Do you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
if for that alone, I feel that the community is welcoming and supportive and loving from my experiences.
I have to totally agree with you on that. The community within a community. I was saying something about that in my rambly live chats the other day. And I was saying something about that, we really got to stop the overpricing these tarot decks when we're going on eBay or the Rorik tarots or some of these
oh my God, yeah.
The overpriced decks, like the $1,500 tarot decks. That's got to stop, but we can't. I don't think it's anybody in the YouTube community or the Facebook community part, but somewhere where that somewhere is in our community, but it needs to be addressed and it needs to end, because that's not the way we should be treating each other in our community.
No, and you have such valid points, and I think that if I can be honest, like tarot is becoming, I don't know, sort of like a cash cow. Like where if you have this like rare deck that just went out of print, it becomes $300 on eBay or Amazon. It's like it was literally in print a month ago. Like, and
Yeah.
it becomes this I don't know, this weird game of I have something amazing and you don't. Like it's always someone's meant to feel like they're lacking something. And like FOMO, like fear of missing out, is such a big thing in our community that we don't talk about. It's like you have to get that indie deck, you have to back that Kickstarter, you have to get this deck that everyone's raving about. But that's not true. Like you can be great with one deck, if that's if that's your thing. Yeah, so I definitely see where you're coming from. I do think that, however, like whoever's prerogative to upsell a deck to $1,300, whatever you want to do, that's your thing. That's fine. But yeah, it's almost like a level of control. Like I can put whatever price I want on this deck because now it's out of print, so that no one can get it.
But I think fair. I also think that there is a level of enablers out there that is buying into these $1,500 decks that are that are going on too. That it's not just the person putting the price tag on it; it's the person enabling that person to do it again and again and again too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if someone buys that $1,500 deck, then they're like, okay, this is fine, what I'm doing. So yeah, I completely agree. Unfortunately, we can't really, like, within our community, we can have discussions about it, but at the end of the day, we can't control like how someone prices something or how someone acts to like a commodity that they have. Because if you have like I have some out of print decks, and if I want to sell them, I could sell them for a pretty penny. Because I can, but is it right to sell it for 20 times more than what it's worth? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes,
that's the question.
Yes. Oh, like I've made some people envy, like get some tarot envy the other day, and I think I could pull this deck out if I could find it, if it's right on top. Hold on. Where's that tarot deck? Ah. This one. It's the Alice Tarot.
Yes.
I made some people have some tarot envy and told them, bragged and boasted how I got this Alice Tarot. And I told people that I actually didn't pay any more than Baba Studios was selling their deck for. They were selling their this deck for $115. I didn't pay any more than $120, only because of the shipping.
Yeah.
Such a pretty deck. Do you have this one?
No, I don't. It's gorgeous though.
And I've been kind of debating or kind of wondering if I should get the guidebook, because I really want the guidebook to this deck. It's one of those decks you just want the guidebook.
Yeah.
And read the guidebook. Get it to focus. Not on me. Focus, focus, focus. Maybe if I zoom it really close. We got some of it. Yeah. It's showing you. I got to sing in the microphone. Me, me, me. There we are. But yeah, so it was a deck that I got a lot of tarot envy over. You know, people had written to me when I posted this on, you know, my Instagram and stuff, and going, "Oh my gosh, how did you get this deck? Or where did you get this deck? I thought you were on a deck buying ban." And I'm like, yes, and yes, but I didn't pay any more than what Baba Studios was selling it for, and that's usually my rule of thumb is try to get a low bowl price for a deck, or find somebody or the right seller. The trick is to also find the right seller and buy a deck that is going to be offered around the similar price than as it was sold for originally. The person was getting their money back for buying the deck.
Yeah, I think that's why in our community trading is so popular, because you're trading usually for equal value of deck A to deck B, um, and not like over like increasing the price so high. Amethyst Rose says, when I look at sold decks, 90% of the time, the high price decks do not sell. I see that.
Yeah.
That's another good point. I've seen, especially on eBay, I see like lots of decks when someone sells like the lot of like 12 decks, not knowing what it's worth. Like it's someone that they knew or someone that passed away and they left this collection and they don't know what it's worth, and they're just trying to sell this whole big collection for like $300-$500.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing to consider too. Sometimes people don't know the worth of something, or sometimes people will just search the price on Amazon, and like Amazon will be like $500, and they'll think, okay, I can sell this for $500.
And then also something in the community to remember too is when you're using a deck and shuffling a deck, right, especially rifle shuffling a deck, it decreases the value of anything. If you're putting some of the miles and the wear and tear into a deck too.
Yeah.
It's not, a deck is not supposed to sit on your shelf. It's supposed to be in someone's hands, getting down and dirty.
Yeah, I mean, and I know that there's people
go on,
that, you know, just collect, and that's perfectly valid too. So if you have like a mint pristine, like, you know, Delphi tarot, like, which I need in my life, then yeah, you can sell it for a higher rate because it hasn't been ever used.
Oh yeah, but that's different though. That's I feel like there's some exceptions to the rules.
Yeah, of course.
But the Tarot Delphi is like that unicorn.
Oh my god, I need it so much.
And okay, so what influenced you, life experiences, music, the world, etc., with your blog posts and things like that? I know tarot is a big topic of your blog posts, but I've read some of your poems, and some of your poems actually talked about some very intimate and personal, I should dare say, personal things that life experiences you have had.
So I wrote it on my blog, like in my frequently asked questions, but everything that I write about is real, that has happened either to me or to someone that I know. So I basically, my poems and my poetic prose are, you know, about life experiences, about things that I've seen, things that I've experienced, things that I know personally, as a way to vent and to put like a semi-permanent snapshot of that moment, to foster healing, to foster, you know, giving the cards the pain, or giving the cards that joy that I felt that day, or a snapshot of a memory that I remembered. So that each poem, each poetic prose, each blog post is, you know, a reflection of my life and how I see the world and my truth.
Mm-hmm. Because I was reading some of your later posts, you know, this is within the past few days and stuff like that. You were writing poetry about a lost daughter and even child pedophilia kind of things too, and they were all really great works of art of poetry. But there were some very personal things, and that was what I was also noticing.
Some of the poems and poetic prose pieces that have to deal with just experiences that I've seen or dealt with, being someone who was abused as a child. It it's something like tarot is something that has helped me cope and heal with that alongside therapy and things like that. Also, when I'm having conversations with friends, my friend has a missing daughter, and we were talking about it. And what I do for a lot of people is like I gift them a piece of creative writing so that they have something to heal with, like as a as a coping mechanism or a healing process, like a snapshot of what's happening, so that they can look at that and assess how that's making them feel, and journal about it. So that's where the missing daughter poem came about.
Because they were I thought that it was very touching and heartwarming, but some of them were very, I could tell were very intimate and very personal. And you just kind of, as a writer, you hit on some of those intimate points, which I really liked. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, like I try to keep my my writing as real as possible. Another thing that I try to keep on my blog is like making sure I tag certain things like with trigger warnings, because I know that my writing and my experiences can trigger other people to certain experiences in their life, and that's not something I would want to happen. But it also, I don't want to censor myself, so I always try to keep that happy medium where I can express myself. But if you don't want to see a post, you can look at the trigger warnings within the post.
I kind of okay. Then moving on to another question. I kind of answered this one for myself reading some of your blog posts last night and stuff, just to study up on this, just getting to know you, basically, kind of stuff. And one of them is code of ethics and client reading for yourself. And that's a really good one that a lot of people in our YouTube community really are curious about. Like, what is your code of ethics? Should I purchase a reading from you, basically, based on your code of ethics, basically?
Well, I think my code of ethics is constantly evolving with readings. It's definitely not my code of ethics when I first started reading professionally. But I think, over time as a reader, you start learning what you're comfortable reading about or reading for and what you're not comfortable reading for. My basic code of ethics is ensuring that that you have complete control over your own actions, knowing that if you're going to purchase a reading from me, that you're doing so by your own free will, knowing that whatever advice or information is provided within the cards, you get to do whatever you want with that information. It is not my job to force importance on that. What may resonate for me as a reader for you may not resonate for you as a client. Also, like what may be presented in the cards today may not be relevant right now, but may be relevant in the near future. Just things like that. I like to have my readings empowering and constructive, and also a two-way street, because I don't do readings online. I do readings in person. So it's more of a conversation between me and said client, and we are working together to help them with whatever query that they have. That's kind of my reading method and how I approach readings. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Because I also have learned for myself, because I've done a lot of in-person readings too, that I'm not really enjoying the I have some people here in the chat rooms that purchase readings for me and things like that, but I'm finding out for myself that I like the dialogue in the reading.
Yes, me
I
too.
prefer
Yeah.
the dialogue in the reading. So I'm not saying that I would not to do online readings anymore, but I'm probably going to change what I offer in my online readings. Like I would rather do like a video chat, like you and me going
Yeah.
one-on-one, talking and dialoguing together and getting into the cards, because I feel like sometimes when I'm just sending somebody a piece of paper or sending somebody just a PDF file and stuff, it gets very impersonal and it doesn't answer anything in the end, basically.
It's so funny that you're saying that because like I'm like in the works like trying to like create like an online shop, but I'm just like I've done, email readings with the PDF and everything is all beautiful. But like it's so different like for me to like type out everything that I'm saying. Because what I do is like I record myself while I'm doing the reading if the person's like in front of me without dialogue, and then I type it out. But it's so different for me because I'm used to having the person right across from me and reading their cards that way and having that feedback, because I try not to read like spreads. Like if you have a question, I pull whatever amount of cards and then I answer your question. You have another question, I pull 3 cards and answer your question again. So it's a constant back and forth. With online readings though, I find that I have to ask them the questions like as prompts for them because they're not answering those questions, which is so weird for me.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how much you know about me, but I am a mother of twins, and one of my twins is having a major medical issues.
Oh wow.
And she has major medical issues, and I'm still doing my tarot stuff. I'm still doing my art. I'm still doing me. And I'm still dealing with someone or a child that has major medical issues on top of that.
Yeah.
And it gets hard to do something as funny as live chats. It's hard to do something like even scheduling a video reading with somebody, or scheduling is to sit down in front of a computer doing FaceTime or doing Skype and just doing a video reading with somebody and doing a one-on-one thing. So you would think that somebody in my situation would do better with the PDF files. You type up a really pretty Word document and then you just send it on your merry way, basically, and just take a picture of the reading when you're done and send it off. You would think that would just be gravy, but I'm not feeling emotionally satisfied doing that so much anymore. And I might change my YouTube options to be more FaceTime and Skype options only, basically. And I have to schedule times out of my day or times where I could to do those kind of readings for people.
Yeah, and I think too, like I know a lot of readers, this is like something that I'm thinking of too when I do the online route, is like having there's like so many services out there that you can have your schedule so that when someone purchases a reading from you, they have a set time frame that they can pick that you're available, that you can pre-set up. So yeah, it can work that way. That's something that I'm thinking of doing too, like more Skype, like because you can see the cards, I can show you, and like we have that dialogue. It's it'd be easier for me. So yeah, I agree with that. Like I don't think that not to say that the PDF readings are not valid or not personal, because they very well can be. I just don't think that they're for everyone, and that's fine.
Yeah, they're not for everybody. And there's some tarot readers that are just perfectly fine. And then the second thing about doing PDF readings, it's a completely blind reading. Even I just did a YouTube video reading for someone recently, and that was a completely blind reading because I had no person dialogues. And every time at the end of my readings and stuff, I even say to the people, like, if you have any questions, just come and ask me, and I have no problem answering it for you for free and things like that. I don't mind explaining readings and you getting the dialogue that way. I just have harder times scheduling times for these live chats, but I think that's what I need to work on this year. That's kind of what I need to revamp my Etsy shop to do.
Yeah.
I think we answered that. Okay, we answered that. Okay, what kind of spreads do you use for yourself and for accurate readings and things like that?
Okay, so accurate readings. Like, so I don't claim like any accuracy like on my readings, but like for myself, like if I'm doing a reading, I just pull 3 cards and that's it. Like for myself. And I can see what's going on. But like for someone else, I go more in depth. Like I'll pull however many cards until like I feel like the question is fully answered. I do a lot of like 3x3. So like I'll do lay 3 cards and lay 3 other cards out and like see how they connect to the question. Like I think that like almost like Lenormand. Like I read tarot, like I would read Lenormand because it just makes
I've been really loving the 2x3 spreads myself, honestly.
Yeah, and like I mentioned before that I started with playing cards, so like that method just makes the most sense to me. Also because when I do in-person readings, I'm not charging by like spread like how you would on Etsy or something like that. I charge by my time. So like if the spread I guess only takes 10 minutes and you're paying for a 30-minute reading, like we can keep going. like we can keep you can keep asking however many questions until the time is over. So that's why I feel like it makes more sense to me to just pull 3 cards or 6 cards and then continue on, because like that's another thing with like the Etsy or like those type of platforms. Like usually you're focusing on one area, but like no one really wants to just focus on one area of their life. Like in person reading, like everyone has questions about everything. So that's why I find it most beneficial for me. Like I'll just keep pulling cards and keep answering the questions until the time is up, or I have to reshuffle the deck.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. And it's actually kind of funny because when I read for myself, I'm like, I have no questions for myself. And then when I get a reading for somebody else, like for an example, if you were doing a reading for me, I'd be like, oh my goodness, I want this questions, and I'm like, oh, why can't I do that for myself?
It's funny though, like I'm making a post about that. I will share it with you later.
I would love it.
How we are like, how we just stop, like when it's us like wanting to ask something, we're like, oh my god, I don't know what to ask. But then when we flip it and it's like, let's pretend that someone else is like right in front of us asking a question that we would want to know, then all the questions just start coming out. I don't know why that happens, but it does.
And okay, and this is something that I also came up with these questions with my husband too. So they got very he got some really good ones actually. And it says, how do you channel your energy for readings, or your intuition, psychic? What do you want to call yourself, basically?
So I don't consider myself a psychic or I don't know. So like I'm still figuring it out. Like I was having a conversation, this almost the same exact conversation with a friend, where we were talking about where do you believe the energy for the reading is coming from? And to be honest, like I'm still figuring that out, because like it changes. So like if I use my deck a lot to talk to the divine or talk to God. So I would say when I'm doing that reading, I'm getting the answers from the divine. Or if I'm doing a reading for someone else, the energy is coming from their own energy. Like I'm picking up their energy while I'm doing the reading. If I'm doing a reading for like my ancestors, the messages are coming from them speaking to the cards. So like I guess it depends on like my use of tarot. But I like to keep a healthy level of skepticism and belief. Because you know, my beliefs can change about how tarot works, and as I evolve in my practice. But I wouldn't consider myself a psychic or like an intuitive. I literally just call myself a tarot reader. Like I'm reading the cards for you, and that's pretty much it. Yeah.
I myself am a little bit more, I would call myself more psychic or intuitive, because I do have like that internal voice or that internal something or other that is telling me, you know, kind of pushing me to say what I need to say, basically. But I wouldn't go as far as calling myself a medium. I would not go as far as calling myself a true psychic or a medium, though, even though I do have this internal voice or this internal something or other kind of influencing me to say something. And that sometimes that voice doesn't come in very clear. And that's kind of why I read tarot, because I feel like the tarot is like the map and the voice is like that GPS. Sometimes for the GPS for a GPS system to work, you have to have the voice and the map visually to know where you're going. You can't have somebody just blindly tell you, you turn left up here.
I agree. No, I like
and
that
500
analogy.
feet.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
So,
I'm still trying to, I guess for me, I'm trying to still figure it out. But I mean, it doesn't detract from my practice. It's just, you know, I guess I'm very experimental and have that, you know, that level of skepticism and belief with how I view my practices. But I'm just, you know, I'm having a good time with exploring tarot and learning how it helps me and how it helps other people. So I wouldn't want to put a label on it just yet. But yeah, I'm just a tarot reader.
I'm just a tarot reader. That's so cute.
Thank you.
Okay. I think I kind of feel like we've uh, answered this a little bit, but top five top favorite tarot decks. Now let's move it a little less about us and more about tarot now.
Okay, so I did my top three, I guess, with Ethony's challenge. So it was the Black Power Tarot, it was the World Spirit Tarot, the Soul Holler Tarot, and then the last two, I guess, would be Rosetta Tarot in the
Yeah,
full
that's a good one.
size, and let's see, the Wooden Tarot.
Oh yeah. That was a cool one. I just am not attracted to it personally. There's a few decks out there that I find really beautiful and very artistically pleasing, but I'm just not attracted to it as far as readings go, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, that makes perfect sense. What about you?
Like, I love the art of the Dreams of Gaia tarot. I'm like, oh, that's so beautiful deck, but I can't show you it because I don't have it, because I'm just not attracted to doing readings with it.
So that's funny because with the Dream of the Guy, I have it, and I had to separate my tarot mind from it and use it as an oracle deck. Like I can't use it as a tarot deck. Like there was no way in hell I was able to. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use it as an oracle deck, and it works perfectly fine. Once I tried to and like the guidebook is gorgeous and lovely, and they go really in depth, but I can't read it as a tarot deck. There's just something about it I can't.
I've heard that complaint very often with that deck in particular, because it's minors plus some extra majors in the major arcana, and she changed some of the majors around when she did that deck, which I think is perfectly fine because it's a system that really works for her, and it is a system that works for many other people. It just doesn't seem like something. I don't know. There's something about that deck that I really love the art, but I just don't see myself reading with it. It's kind of like that Shadowscapes Tarot. I'm feeling the same way with the Shadowscapes Tarot. I don't have that deck anymore. I traded it, but I just could not.
It's in my cart, and I'm like always like, it's in my cart, it's out of my cart, and it's like the reason why is because like the art is so small. Like the art is so
Yeah.
small for the card, and like I know that there's like a Czech version.
Yeah.
The but like it's the card's still not big enough. Like
Nah.
yeah.
Nah. Yeah. I have to agree with you on that one. Oh, and another deck that I is kind of like that on that same wavelength is like the Mary L Tarot, but I got two versions of the deck. I love the Mary L Tarot so much that I got. I think that's not the Mary L. I think that's nope, that would be the Mary L. I'm like, which one's my Mary L? No, that's not even my Mary L.
That's a tarot reader problem when you can't find your deck in your.
Oh, that's a tarot collector problem. You can't find your deck. Oh, this is it though. I was like, which black bag is it? And it's in this one. But yeah, Marielle. I got two versions of this deck. I got the one with the complete black borders and the tarot fonts on the bottom, and then the one completely trimmed down version of the Marielle Tarot.
Yeah, I want to get another copy so I can just trim it down.
And I like both copies because you could do one version that is you got a terrible glare there into this one, but you got one version that can be an oracle deck, and then you got another version that is the tarot deck, and that's what I like about having both versions.
Yeah,
is that if you feel like you want something to be more oracle deck, you can, and you can do one that is more tarot deck based. But it's her art's amazing. I think she does it in oil paintings. I think
they're gorgeous. Yeah, it's one of
they're very gorgeous.
My shadow work decks,
definitely beautiful shadow work decks. I have more. I think if you say that, what's your specific style of a deck that you like to get? What it would be one that you would be getting?
Like a specific style that I go for.
Yeah.
I was gonna be like expensive. Like I don't really have like a set style. Like my collection is really diverse. But I'm trying to think. I mean like I like the anything that's really like Thoth based. Because I don't read exclusively with Thoth, but like the way that the art is like the Tabula Mundi or the Rosetta Tarot, like the artwork on those decks are just fucking amazing. Like they're so beautiful.
They're beautiful. I love the Tabula Mundi. I'm actually surprised that nobody really, not too many people read with the Tabula Mundi.
Yeah, no
actually,
one really talks about it. It's weird.
No, and it was a big hype last year when the hype came out for it. And here's the deck, by the way.
Yeah, I have mine on my shelf somewhere.
It's somewhere. It's on your dirty shelf somewhere, right?
Yeah.
I could have found this one because it was just like right up front, so it was easy. But this is not the Babylonian edition. Still don't know the difference between the Babylonian edition and this one.
Yeah, I don't have the Babylonian edition either. I think it was like $20 more. I was like, I can't afford this. Like,
but yeah, I don't see anybody talking about this deck. It's a wonderful Thoth-based deck, and it's beautiful. The most beautiful Thoth-based deck, actually. I think. If I dare say so.
I love that card with the DJ.
Yeah, he's such a cute DJ too. I love him jamming with the stars and stuff. Yeah. So what kind of music are you into?
So I like listen to like R&B music. Like I listen to an artist called Her or SZA, Frank Ocean, like those types of artists. The Weeknd, like very like mellow like type of music. That's like what I like to listen to. But when I'm like doing tarot readings, like for myself, the music that I like listening to in my headphones is like that ambient like sound. It's like really soft and like serene and like takes you to like another world. I love like that type of music. It's so it's so nice, and like it puts you like in a nice calm headspace.
The R&B music nowadays will put me to sleep because they have those very beautiful a cappella voices.
Yes, yeah.
I have to say that I'm a music enthusiast too, but they have those very beautiful a cappella voices, and I'm like, and they're so in tune with each other and everything around them, and they just put me to sleep. They just put me to sleep.
I also like not it's funny, like not a lot of people like it, but I like ASMR. like it's I don't know, it's certain ASMR is like are very calming to me. So
I'm not very familiar with some of these names. I don't seek out R&B music all the time, but if I hear it on the radio or something like that, it doesn't bother me.
Oh no, so like ASMR is like the light tapping and things like that that's supposed to give you like chills. Like yeah, that's like that calms me down. Like hearing someone shuffle, like that is like the best sound in the world.
Yeah, actually what's hilarious is my twin girls, I shuffle the cards and they will stop crying and just go,
oh, that's so adorable.
They love the sound of shuffling cards already, and they've always done so. Actually, I think because I did it when they were infants and stuff, when I was really going through hard times and stuff, and I just did that to soothe myself, just to like a nervous tick, and I shuffle my cards, and they just really love the sound of the shuffling cards. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's what I do too. Like talking about the nervous tick, like shuffling, just like it just relaxes me. Like I have to have a deck in my hand, like near me.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I might not read tarot all the time, but I just kind of like the shuffle, and I like to look at the images sometimes. Yeah, is another thing.
Me too. Yeah, I love it. It's so good.
Yeah, just to dive deep into the images, just kind of pretty card.
Yeah. That's another thing that I try to do, like with my poems, is like I just shuffle sometimes and I'll pull a card and I'm like, oh, this evokes this feeling or this memory, and then I'll start writing.
And so your top 5 pretty card decks or a top pretty card decks where you don't really use it for readings, but you just kind of go, pretty card.
Let's see. All right, let me get them. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
All right.
I'm just fixing up my hairdo for a second too. While he gets that, I'll show him some of my pretty card decks. I think that's one. That's one. Who? And where's my other one? 5 seconds, everybody. We're back.
So I got 3.
I got 3 too.
3 is my number today. So I have the Adrian Tarot. Hold on, let me get some cards. I
put the camera on you, so you're featured.
Oh yeah. So this is some of the cards.
Oh, that is a pretty deck. Don't show me that one. I've seen who was it that did it that one recently? It was Kasha from Tarot Map, or she formerly known from Tarot Map.
Yeah.
She showed that one, and I'm like, oh my god, that's a pretty deck. And she was like, so people don't like it. I'm like, what's not to like? That's
yeah,
pretty.
A lot of people don't like it. It's gorgeous, though. It's so beautiful. So that's
very pretty deck.
Yeah, I don't really use it that often, but it's beautiful. All right, I'll put that there. The next one is Tarot of Inspiration.
Ooh.
So, take some of the cards. So, try not to get the glare.
That's a pretty one, too.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It photographs really well. So I use it a lot for photograph, but not for reading. It was terribly expensive.
This deck was terribly expensive?
Yeah.
Pretty. I like that one.
So yeah. And then
I like that Knight of Cups there. That was a very pretty Knight of Cups.
it's beautiful, beautiful. And the last one is the Happy Star Tarot.
That's a cool name.
And then some of the cards. So it's basically like the Rider-Waite-Smith, but green.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that one.
It's beautiful, yeah. But those are my shinies, my shiny decks that I don't use.
Yeah. All right. I think I'm gonna either horrify some people or with my top 3 shiny decks, you know, that I don't really read with, but I like to go, pretty deck. It's gonna horrify some people, like, you should read with it, kind of thing. My number 1 has to be the Prism of Visions Tarot.
Oh, I'm judging you.
I know you're judging. Tiger's Abyss judges me so badly, and I had to go, Tiger's Abyss. Stop doing it. Nobody asked you, Tiger. And so here I have some of these beautiful, beautiful images, and I just don't use them too much. I just love to panoramic them. I love to look at the pretty paintings. I actually was tempted to get the sepia tone this past month, but I just said to myself, nope, you have yourself on a deck budget, and it's not like you use this deck anyways, except for gawking at it. I do nothing but gawk at this deck too. It's terrible.
It's gorgeous.
It's like, oh, I love this deck. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. So that is deck number 1, Prism of Visions Tarot. Deck number 2 is yet to be determined if it will be continuing to be a gawking deck or a deck that I will actually use in the future. Is the Ophelia Rosa.
Oh my god.
Tarot.
That deck, like, you explain it and then I'll tell you. Like,
it's a beautiful, beautiful plant-based deck with the matte gold edges and back. It's a pip deck, and it has all of these beautiful flower imageries and these plant imageries, but it's supposed to be intuitive. If I could get my camera to focus on anything. And I just love it. You know, orchids for 9 of Cups and things of that nature. It's just such a beautiful deck. But go on.
I want that deck so bad, but I'm scared that I'm not gonna connect with it. like I don't know. I just like it was in my like want list for so long, but I don't know. Like, I'm scared that if I buy it, I'm just not gonna like it. Like,
well, my biggest problem with this deck is that I really love this deck's art and things like that, and I really want to use it and connect with it. But the biggest issue I have is that the creator, did not write meanings or the flower meanings to what the card is on the card. That to me was like a
yeah,
big pout. Made me upset.
Oh.
And another one, it's a pretty deck that I've tried to break the mold of it being a pretty deck over and over again, is the Star Child Tarot. I got the Akashic version and both the Akashic versions, the borderless and the bordered edition. This was just the one I could reach for easily.
That one's gorgeous.
It's a beautiful, beautiful deck. I want the first edition of this deck. I think I connected with the first edition of this deck a lot better than I did with the other editions of this deck. This is such a beautiful deck, though.
Have you seen the Oracle deck that's coming out by her?
Yes, it's one of those things that I really I saw it some notifications and stuff, and I'm like, oh,
I can't wait for the Moonchild Tarot to come out.
Yeah. That deck was supposed to be coming out last year or the year before.
Yeah.
And it's still not out. What's up with that?
I don't know. Like, I want it so bad.
I've been wanting it so bad too. That one was one that when she was releasing the Star Child that she said she was working on and that she was really making, proactively making. I'm like, I want that one versus the Star Child, and then it just never seems to come out. And it's like, where is it?
Hopefully, it comes out by the end of this year.
Oh yeah, I hope so too. I think I'll stop waiting if it doesn't. I think I lost a deck where a deck fell on the ground, but I'm not seeing it. Oh, there it is. I found it.
Runaway
fell
deck.
on the shelf below. It was my was it the Russian whore deck I have? It was a cool deck. So what do you think of that deck? Oh, it's a cool deck. Yeah. I really like you just kind of fiddling with that deck there.
Yeah. I'm just gonna make like a YouTube video of just me shuffling.
I don't know why it drives people crazy with the shuffling deck stuff, taking time to do the shuffling decks and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. And this is something that I could get back onto some of the questions is what are your views on society accepting tarot? Do you think that society is getting better or you think it's kind of still there's that resistance there?
I mean, I think how like we mentioned before about the communities within the communities, I think that there are some communities where it's becoming more accepted, but then there's also communities where tarot continues to be demonized and where it continue to be seen as frauds and charlatans and things of that nature. So I think that it's becoming more mainstream. I think that would be a word for it, but I think that there's always going to be some resistance within other communities that tarot is just some evil thing.
Yeah.
But I think that within our communities and within the mainstream media, tarot is becoming more popular and becoming more seen. Yeah.
Definitely. I definitely noticed in my personal journey with tarot and stuff that there's a lot of people that will claim that they are not interested in readings and they're not interested in tarot, but then they're kind of look over the shoulder. Can you do a reading for me? Can you answer me this question? I've noticed that happens more often than anything else out there. I think there's just something about tarot that people just want to know. Like if somebody has an answer to the life, universe, and everything, people just are gravitating towards that and just wants to know, basically. I want to know. Do you have an opportunity to give me the answer to everything? I want to know, basically.
Yeah. No, yeah,
I think people naturally grab to that.
Yeah, I know. I definitely see that. I also see like in the opposite spectrum, like, so something that happened to me last year was I was with my father getting coffee, and he was getting the coffee, and I was shuffling my tarot deck, waiting for him, and this lady was in a very loud voice went to the barista and was like, "You're gonna allow that there? You're gonna allow those demon cards there?" And like I wanted to die.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was a very like traumatic experience because like then everyone was looking at me and like my tarot cards. But the barista and everyone that worked there were nice, and were like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with the cards. But it's experiences like that where I've had where people are very rude, can be rude, because of their preconceived notions of what tarot is and what tarot isn't. Yeah, so
And then there's also another spectrum. I think we, as afraid of coming out of the tarot closet too, there's another spectrum that our tarot cards are starting to not look like tarot cards anymore. They are so artistically expressed that we think that they look like tarot cards, but outsiders looking in, they don't really realize what we're playing with. You know, they think we were playing with a deck of cards, you know?
Yeah.
But
No,
they,
I think that's completely valid. Yeah. I think also with the addition of like the popularity of like oracle cards being more accessible to people who may have reservations about tarot, oracle decks are becoming that like gateway towards the tarot world.
oh,
Um,
yes.
yeah.
Especially, you could say whatever you want about Dorian Virtue and angel readings and whatever, but the angel readings really, I've had some really accurate angel readers in the past, and
Mhm.
I've received some accurate angel readings. What do
Yeah.
they practice? Is a bunch of gobbledygook? No, I just think they just connect to a spirit, a similar spirit that what we're connecting or channeling to, but it just interpreted and viewed in as different lights,
Yeah. I
basically.
mean, I don't find anything wrong with like angel readings or angel readers or angel cards in general. I'm a firm believer in being the type of reader that you want to be, and that is perfectly okay. And something that I'm learning this year is that I'm not for everyone, and that's perfectly fine. You're not going to be the reader for every single one. And I think being comfortable in the type of reader that you are is the first step, because once you're comfortable with the type of reader you are and the type of readings you want to offer, your clients can tell and your clients want to come back. If you're feeling like you have to be like X, Y, and Z other reader, you're not being authentic to yourself.
Of course, exactly. And I think that that was something I was learning when I was coming out of the tarot closet and stopping divine readings with the gypsy, and I started to become Evie Wilkinson. I couldn't take Evelyn because there was a few Evelyns in the tarot communities. So I just took my nickname Evie and did Evie Wilkinson. But when I came out of the tarot closet, I think I had a handful of unsubscribers as well as a handful of new subscribers. So I felt like around that same time, there was a few people that unsubscribed and then a few people subscribed. You know, like it balanced itself out. But
Yeah.
they kind of got put off because they thought my channel was going to be I think people got put off because they thought what I was going to do is going to be more of an art channel versus a tarot channel. And I'm like, no, art. It's kind of like you with your blog posts, tarot and blogging and tarot and poetry
Mhm.
go hand in hand. For me,
Yeah.
spirituality, art, and self-expression goes hand in hand with my what I do with my tarot cards too.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think having that like what we'd call like in like the corporate world, like the mission statement of exactly what you're doing. Um because like when I started Tarot Prose, I wanted to be like clear, like okay, like I'm gonna be writing prose and poetry. But it wasn't until like a year after that where I started to, you know, share, certain parts of my practice. And as you said, as your channel evolves, you're going to start implementing art and things of that nature, which are still part of your tarot life. I wouldn't see why people would want to subscribe unless they don't like that side of you, but that's you. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
that's part of the
it's part of
package.
you, yeah. So I think that people in general just have different interests, and people's interests change, which is a part of life. But as long as you stay true to yourself and realize that you're giving your all and you're giving your best to your channel, incorporating your art and incorporating your authenticity, then the people who've unsubscribed, there's millions of channels out there. They can go to them, and then the people that are subscribed to you or your loyal subscribers are the ones that are gonna want to see you and grow with you and support you.
Yeah. And I was talking about that the other day when I was on a live ramble with a bunch of people too. I said that in the end of the day, I rather touch the 5 people or the few people that I do connect with and I do talk to in the tarot community, because it's them that I am influencing or making a difference. I'm not making a difference to the rest of the people. I'm making a difference to those 255 subscribers or whatever it is to my channel, and when I do in those live chats or whatever I'm doing, I'm really connecting to them. And they are very touched with everything that I talk about with them, and everything that goes on with that. So I'm feeling very blessed with having that small community right now, and it's very touching and rewarding.
Like, another thing, you should be proud of everything that you've accomplished and you're accomplishing. Like, you have, like, you're making a deck like that, like that's amazing. And you're sharing your artwork, and I think that's something that a lot of people don't know who aren't artists, like how nerve-wracking that is to share your art and sharing, you know, parts of yourself online.
Oh my God, that is so scary. I'll tell you, that is very scary, more scary than anybody else could realize for me. Because here I am. I'm not yes, I'm a trained artist, but I'm not really a trained artist. I didn't go to arts college. I did not go to any place that will formally train art past the high school level. I went to a few art camps. I was kind of talented in art camps, and I had grew up in an artistic family, and my sister went to art school and things like that. But I am by no stretch of the imagination trained in art whatsoever, making this tarot deck, believe it or not.
I mean, I think there's a difference between being, like, calling yourself a trained artist and then just being an artist and being the artist that you want to be. Like, no one's gonna like, I haven't, like, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I've never seen a tarot deck that says this deck was created by a classically trained artist. No one cares. No one cares.
No.
Like, you know, things like you gotta do you and own it and be proud of that. And you know, like, I see the work that you're doing, and I'm proud of you. And I think that you're like, it takes a lot of nerve to have live chats. It takes a lot of nerve to have a YouTube channel. It takes a lot of nerve to, you know, put your work out there. Even, like, for me with my writing, like, just because I say I'm a writer doesn't mean I'm any good. I just write. Like, I can promise you I will write, but it doesn't mean I'm any good. And I think that, especially like in the creative field that we're in, we all started from somewhere, just like tarot. We all started with our little white book, flipping through like the little book, like trying to figure out what was going on. The same thing with our creative expression. We all start from somewhere. And it's really good when you have people supporting you and loving your work. And that feels really good.
Yeah. And it does feel very good. And it's very, very, it's been a very interesting journey. I could show you. I pulled out some things. Some of my first tarot decks. I think there was always, I guess this is what's funny when you're talking about being guided in a certain direction.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since I was learned about tarot and learned everything about tarot, yes, I have a little background in art, like I was telling you guys, but I'm not by any stretch of the means, by any means, an artiste, you know, like in the classically trained artist style. And even no matter what skill level I felt like that I should be painting or making my own tarot deck, basically. I've always felt that draw that I should be doing it, basically. And I got some goodies right behind this card of some of my first drafts and things like that of tarot decks that I've tried to paint. And this is one of my first drafts of the full card about 2 years ago, actually.
That's gorgeous.
And it's actually hilarious because it looks nothing like if you all are following my deck at all, or following the creation of my deck at all, it's downstairs. I meant to bring the prototype upstairs, so if you missed that part of the chat. But it was the man that's kind of busting open with that not green, but he has that sacral chakra. That one. He's the gray guy with the sacral chakra.
Yeah.
And that's my full card for the J Shadows Tarot, but this one is more traditional in a way.
I mean, I think they're both amazing, but as you can see, like you see how your craft and your thought process develops over time, and that's perfectly fine. Like I don't think fool versus your new fool are invalid to each other. I think they're equally amazing in parts of your practice. But it also shows the progression of your art, and it shows the progression of how you view the full card throughout your journey. So
oh yes,
it's really good.
yes. And then I also did things like this, where I painted a background and I did like a National Geographic cutout, and just did
collage.
a photo collage, and I just did this because I thought she was beautiful, you know, with it was like an African wedding or something like that, and I just thought she was beautiful, and just everything, you know, with the tribal leaders and stuff doing her dress and things like that, and I did that, and just those kind of things, and those are the kind of things that I like to do in my spiritual art and practice and stuff like that when I do paintings and stuff. And yes, I love doing tarot, and I'm doing my J Shadows tarot, but I also keep myself grounded, try to do other paintings and stuff too. Like there's one art piece I call Oddity, and he's basically looks like an autopsy guy or whatever. I don't know if it would show up on the chat if I try to show him a picture. Okay, this is it. This one is a painting that I did. I don't know if you can see that at all.
Oh wow. Yeah,
and he's not part of the tarot deck, but he is something that I try to do to break away from the tarot deck, because sometimes because I'm an evolving artist, everyone. When you set yourself on a certain style or a certain style, start painting a tarot deck, a certain style, and your style shifts over time, you need to feed the that drive to go forward, but you got to keep that style going, what you were originally visioned.
Yeah.
Too. So that gets hard also when you are a growing artist in the tarot, doing a tarot deck, because that style really becomes something else than what you've originally started with, even though people really are attracted and really like what you really started with. And so it's hard to keep that balance. And I don't think people really know that until they start making their own tarot decks. Yeah. Unless you are Anna, or the beautiful Anna, and what is it, Lisa Hunt and things like that, where they've had their style for many, many years and they're staying with it, basically.
Yeah, I agree.
Not every artist is also like what is it, Patrick Fluenza, who's just stays in that specific style. I don't see that evolve or change of styles too much with his art. It's really is what it is. So with his art, and I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. It's not, because I love his decks.
Yeah.
But you just don't see that drastic, it's a figure painting, to, oh my gosh, that's a realism kind of thing.
Yeah. And I think
you don't see that shift.
Yeah, I think like as an artist, you know, we sometimes compare our year 1 to someone's year 20 of doing art. Like you can't do that. Like
yeah.
You have to own the changes, you know, in how, like, it's not only like your art style, but your skill sets as you develop as an artist, they change and you become more efficient, and you just change the way you're doing things.
Like, for an example, when I painted the full card, he was actually the first one that I've ever, my first J Shadows card, and my first J Shadows, you know, painting. And I remember when I was painting him, he was so hard to paint, and he was hard to get the proportions right, and I was struggling and all that stuff. I just felt that internal struggle. I could probably paint him again or repaint him again, and he would probably come out the same in a way, or maybe even better, because I know a little bit more human anatomy. I know a little bit more about the human portions and stuff like that, because I was self-teaching myself some of those skills as I'm going along throughout the deck, actually.
Yeah.
So that is something too.
And it goes like, if we tie it back to tarot, like your first day with like learning tarot versus like being 2 years involved in tarot, like you're not the same reader as you were on day one, and that's fine. Like that's completely okay. Like you're I mentioned before about like my ethics changed over time, and I added things, took some things away, because you grow as a reader and you grow as an artist, and that's just the way of life. You're just going to constantly be growing.
And yeah, and I remember my first tarot experience is with the Robin Wood deck. That was my first tarot deck. And I only had a little white book, and I was just doing this with the little white book throughout the whole entire reading and reading what the little white book said. And that's how I first learned tarot, is through a little white book with my Robin Wood deck. That's really how it's all began. And now I am doing client readings, and I'm got this collection behind me and things like that. It really was you got to stick with it, so basically, and you only get better if you stick with it.
Yeah, I agree.
And things will come to you if you're dedicated enough and put enough hours for it. If you want it enough, it will be yours.
Yeah. And I think there's no rush like with tarot, like because that's another thing that I see, especially in like the Tumblr tarot community, is everyone wants to just learn tarot instantly sometimes, and it's okay to be excited, but enjoy your journey. I think that's so important. Like you should enjoy your journey and your learning of the cards, and seeing what they mean to you, and seeing how your thought process is when you pull card A versus card B, and just developing your own practices and your own ways of reading the cards. I think that's so important, instead of trying to force this connection or bond, because it never ends up genuine and you just end up frustrated.
Oh yes. And I definitely know of exactly. Yes, exactly. But I know for myself, and there's a big thing in our little YouTube tarot community that most people in our YouTube tarot community don't believe in third-party readings. I'm the only one that I know of in our YouTube tarot community that does third-party readings, and I have I feel like my arguments for that, I'm not meaning to spy. That's not what I'm trying to say. There's a difference between spying and using third-party readings to bring it back to the querent or the client and say, well, then why are you asking this question in the first place, basically?
I mean, I think what's important about like if we're bringing it back to ethics and third-party readings, your ethics do not have to mirror someone else's. And I think like that's something important that I learned with tarot. Like just because someone decides not to do a third-party reading or a love reading, that doesn't mean you can't. That like there's no governing body of tarot that says you can't do whatever the hell you want with tarot. Um, is it ethically right? Whatever, that's for you to decide. Your ethics don't have to mirror, they don't have to mirror anyone else's. Like you can be, a scammer on the side of the road, and like let them do them. Like it's shitty, but like that's them. With the third party reading, it's funny because when I started learning to read cards, and I would see my grandmother or my mother read cards, third party readings were like what everyone asked for. Like, what is my husband thinking of me? Is my husband cheating on me? That's a third party reading. And like that's what I grew up learning. Like there was no line. And it wasn't until the online tarot world where I learned like, oh my God, third party readings are a no. But by cultural
Yeah.
background and how I learned, there was no set rule of that. And like I completely get like invasion of privacy and things like that because that's something that I personally dealt with. Um, with
I've read
someone,
that blog post.
yes, someone trying to invade my privacy. So I like there's no hard fast black and white rule. But I think that if you are going to do something like a third party reading, own it. And like no one should be able to tell you you're wrong or you're a bad reader because of it, because your ethics are your own ethics.
I have to totally agree with that because when I first started reading, because I didn't have a governing body also,
Yeah.
and especially coming from, I came from a Christian background. So I came from a very structured, God is going to get you hellfire background. And then branching away from that and breaking away from that Christian community and making your own paradigms and making your own way in the world, basically, you're envisioning yourself in the world and like, what does life mean to me now? You know, like now that I'm broken away from that and I say that's not me no more, what does, you know, you got to rebuild yourself from the ground up. Like, what is your morals, basically? And some of those things that I rebuilt for myself when I was reading for my mom and things like that, and when I first started reading was we were going through a divorce process. I was 18 years old. We were going through a divorce process, and my dad was being a crazy, you know what, and we did a lot of readings, third-party readings on him, you know, to see what he was going on, you know, like what's up with that and what's going to happen, basically. And so it was something at the time that I just thought it was okay and natural, and it wasn't until recently, well, more in the what I mean by recently was more in the past 2 years, people were coming out saying, I don't do third party readings. That was completely foreign to me because I totally was learning tarot, or I did my tarot in a third party reading standpoint because in my mind's eye, I'm an Aries, so my logic is, well, a love reading is a third party reading. But everybody asks for love readings, but that's okay. But that's not okay. I don't understand. You know, there's a part of me that just couldn't comprehend it or understand it, basically.
Yeah, like I think for those who don't, like I like the reasonings are great and I totally respect it. But I don't think that anyone should be ashamed because they do, you know, third party readings or should be seen as less of a reader because people do third party readings. Just because it's different from how you read doesn't mean it's wrong.
Yes.
You know, like I don't think that's fair. And I also think that as a reader, if you're comfortable, like there's like this whole thing about not reading about the future, like you're like, or like the whole debate about being a fortune teller and things like that. I'm like, if that doesn't work for you, that doesn't fit right for you, that's fine. But don't negate other people's practices if it works for them. If they're comfortable doing it, then let them do whatever they need to do.
And I actually really loved Kelly from Truth and Story's definition of reading for the future, because that what she calls it is something that I resonate with. It's called what she calls it a future cast, you know, like a forecast, but it's a future cast.
I say the same thing. Yeah.
I really resonate with that because I don't feel like the future is written. I think that time and space is like a spherical ball, you know, of gobbledygook. We don't know what it looks like. We really are kind of tapping and seeing what really is up or down, because time and space is a dimension, you know. So what is the future? You know, the future's now and all that stuff, and we're all one with the past, present, and future. What does that actually all look like? I don't know.
No, I agree.
Life is already gobbledygook. So, and I don't really think in if you're thinking of linear form, the future is not written yet, and you are your own body or governing body for the future. So you, if you feel like you are reading for the future and you did like a forecast, well, your direction, it says rainy with a chance of meatballs or whatever. Well, because I also am going to try to do a video on this topic too. I think I'm going to do a live chat topic on another time, but I was going to do a live chat topic on how do you use your quote unquote psychic intuition or your intuitive voice versus already could predict what could happen. Because if I cheat on my boyfriend and I try to go for that guy or something like that, that doesn't, you already could predict what the ending is going to be.
Yeah.
He's going to dump your butt and say sayonara. So why are you coming to a tarot reader for that? She's going to tell you the same thing, because it's, how do you separate common sense with an actual reading? That's a good question sometimes that we have to ask ourselves as tarot readers too. Are you, go on.
No, it's funny that you're saying that, because a lot of the questions I get for readings are just common sense. They're just and it's fine. I preface, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not gonna give you legal advice, but especially with my friends, I'm like, before I pull cards for you, I'm gonna tell you as a friend this and this and this, but we will see. You know what I'm saying? But I think bringing it back to the future, do you remember I guess because we were around the same age when we were kids, that game MASH, where you would
yeah, I think so.
Because everyone's always inquisitive about what's going to happen in the future, so naturally tarot could be the gateway to that. So I don't see why people say that's a strict no, don't do it. But I do believe in forecasting, because the person receiving the message gets to decide what they do with that message.
Yes, for sure.
So yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that either. Reading about the future, or what I like to say, the probable future, because you get to decide. The cards are telling you about the trends as we speak right now, but you can make a decision after this reading that can potentially change everything I just read for you. And accepting that responsibility, I think is important as a client and a reader.
Oh yes, for sure. For sure. Because I have been reading for people and stuff like that, I have been reading for my nurse, one of my nurse ladies, and she wants me to, I can't say what I'm reading about in her, but some of the things that she wants me to read about or dig into, I'm like, I don't mind doing third-party readings and ethics and stuff like that. I'm perfectly cool with it. But some of it is like, oh my gosh, girl, you can predict without using the cards what you really need to do. You need to get, separate yourself from that and rebuild yourself, basically, is what you need to do. And you don't need the cards to tell you that. And sometimes I think that what we need to realize too in our society, I'm not saying as a tarot community, but in a big society, that tarot readers were our first therapists, our first psychologists and stuff like that. Back in the olden days, they come to the witches and they come to the tarot people for guidance and counsels and things like that, or even the shamans of the villages and stuff like that, and just say, what should I do about this such and such information. And so I think we are like the shamans in our society in a way. People come to us as a last resort because everybody else told them reality, and we could tell them reality too, but we could put a more of a quote unquote mystical spin on things.
I find I find it too, bringing it back to the modern life, a tarot reading is usually always cheaper than therapy. Not saying don't don't go out and like seek you know, those resources. But I find that like that's what happens, where people will seek out you know, a tarot reader. Like for me, I use tarot in my therapy sessions. It's like it's a good tool that helps me. Would I go to a tarot reader for mental health stuff? Probably not, but I know that there are people that do. So I think it's finding that line, like that line of how much can you help client X, and where you're not qualified to help them, and outsource to, you know, the legal professionals. But yeah, I
Yes.
do see that point where you're talking about like in certain instances where people would go to a tarot reader for those types of
I'm not.
services.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that that we are the first. I'm not saying that lightly, but like the first therapists or the first whatever's of back in the day. But there's more qualified people in today's society who
Yeah.
actually went to school for it. I think that whenever you encounter somebody who needs that therapeutic help, you should always refer to them to a professional,
Yeah.
especially if they have, you know, people like my nurse with her personal problems and stuff. And she came to me with you know, got addicted to tarot readings and stuff, and that's another topic in itself, of people addicted to
Yeah.
tarot readings.
Yeah. I think
And
also having personal boundaries, which is something, I guess it ties in with ethics too, is like drawing that line between yourself and the client, and understanding where this reading, where that line is for the reading, and where it can't be crossed. Yeah.
oh, for sure, and you're your own boss. And this can, if you were to make a business, you're your own boss, so you could decide to discontinue a client or not see a client anymore because they're being a little cuckoo and they're they need to be seeing a therapist rather than seeing you. And I definitely think that you should always maybe even I don't know how many professional readers do this, but you should always try to find a, a psychologist or somebody local to you if you're doing local readings or something, or local to that person, and refer to them to that professional and give them business too. Basically,
Yeah.
tag team.
Yeah, I do that. I do that a lot. Like I have like helpline numbers, and I have to local, you know, local clinics and things of that nature on hand, just in case. Because I just feel like it's a responsibility as a reader. If you know someone is just not well coming into a reading, I will not read for them.
And it's really such a shame that the Christian community doesn't always play ball with tarot, because they are a very great resource for sometimes for counseling too. Sometimes, I'm not saying all the time they are, but sometimes they're a really good place for counseling. You know, and I don't, and that's a shame, because pastors and stuff are, I guess in a way, it's kind of, I'm not saying that they're more reputable than tarot readers, but I do feel like they've had some schooling or some training to do what they do sometimes too.
I think like throughout my career as being, you know, a reader, sometimes clients don't want a reading, they just want someone to listen. And I
Yeah.
think listening is such a powerful tool that a lot of us overlook or take for granted. Like people just want to just unwind for 20 minutes, like, and then go on with
And
their day.
it's actually interesting that you said that, because that's why I failed as a massage therapist. I actually was a massage therapist, and I
Oh,
failed as a massage therapist because I was being their friend, or being the counselor, you know, somebody that they were talking to when they just to unwind and say, man, you know, I had a bad day or something like that. And I ended up talking to the people while they were supposed to be getting their massages. And so I ended up getting you know, like personal healing sessions, or personal you know, that love message for clients and stuff like that as a massage therapist. And I got a lot of them. Actually, I find this really funny too. Male clientels, um, I find that men in our society are very suppressed, and they don't have many outlets to, you know, buds or people to talk to. I think it's a societal, some societal whatevers, but I do find that the male clients in particular really want somebody to talk to more than they actually want a reading or something like that. They just want somebody to talk to and understand them.
Interesting.
Which is very interesting. Hi, Feebud. How's it going? But yeah, I do find that male clientele in particular when I was doing massage therapy, and I don't find that tarot's too different, but I find that what men really, really are seeking for, or most men in our society are really seeking for, is somebody to listen when they have a bad day. It's not even about the therapist or what you have to say to them. They just want somebody to listen to what's going on.
Yeah.
Basically. Because sometimes they were telling things that they didn't want to talk to their wives about. There's something that was bothering them, or something about their wives, or something, you know, something that was bothering them that day. It doesn't even have to be anything in particular, just something that is on their minds, and they would just completely unwind and things like that. And it's very interesting. And I don't know why that people don't. I think that sometimes to be a good person, you have to just listen to somebody. You know, just even listening to somebody when they have a bad day makes a whole world of difference.
Yeah, I think like with my tarot readings, I like to just, you know, hold space for the person with whatever they're going through, and you know, make sure that they're heard and listened to, and regardless if it's like if something, you know, negative or positive comes up in the reading, you want the client to leave, whether it's an email reading or in-person reading, you want the client to, once the reading is over, to feel better than when they got there, or better than before they read the reading. That's what I try to do and accomplish.
Oh yes, it's and I have to ask you because you're a little bit more knowledgeable about this topic than I am. But would somebody in the LGBTQ community, do you have that problem with LGBTQ clients with that kind of subject matter, or you find it? I find it with straight men in particular, but
well,
I
think it's I mean, I wouldn't say, like, I wouldn't try to generalize it. I would just say that you know, each client comes with their own different query, their own different baggage, and I just try to you know, be there for each one of them. I don't find that any person's gender identity like favors just needing someone to listen over the other. I just treat my clients like I will listen to you if that's what you need. I don't need the cards. But if you want a reading, here's my cards. We can do this reading.
yes.
But I make it clear, like, this is not a therapy session. I'm not giving you a therapy session. Because that's not what I'm doing. Like, I'm holding space for someone, and this is the space of a tarot reading. It can't go beyond that. Yeah.
For sure. That's very interesting. This has been a very fun chat. I think we're a lot more introspective than I usually am with Tires Abyss. Tires Abyss and I
that you
we're like,
me
here's my back.
I said I was so honored that you asked me to be in this chat.
Oh, for sure. It's been 2 hours, so I think, unfortunately, that might be longer than most people would stay on with me. I think I've talked with Zach for 2.5 hours or so before. But It's definitely been fun. I really enjoyed
have to do it again.
getting to know you.
Oh, so good to get to know you too.
Yeah, I really had a lot of fun. Let's pull cards.
Okay.
I got Oracle of Oddities. You got your Centennial right away.
Yeah.
Just making sure I got all my cards. And you're gonna hear shuffling sounds because I'm a rifle shuffler.
Me too. Oh my god. So like I was rifle shuffling one time and someone was like, why would you do that? And I was like,
why not? I do overhand shuffle too, but I do a good rifle shuffle to really stir it in, and then I do my overhand shuffles.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really fun getting to know new people, and I've actually been meaning to get more new people on my live chat than Zach from Tiger's Abyss. I really enjoy having him on every single time, and he he is so fun, and he's such an enabler, and we can talk for hours too.
Oh my god! And like, I stop his videos to look at his damn whiteboard because I'm like, what decks do you have there?
I know. I tried to ask him a few times, and it just gets off topic. But we try to look. I try to spy on his whiteboard too, and like, oh, what is in your mind, Zach? What is in your mind? All right. All right. All right. Are you ready to reveal your 3 cards?
Oh, we can do 3? Okay.
Oh, I was thinking 3. I'm gonna go ahead and put the camera on you so everybody can see. Ooh.
Okay, so I have.
And see,
Yeah, I keep it in there. So I have the extra card.
Oh.
I have 10 of Cups and the Queen of Swords. All right.
Oh.
So right off the bat, what I'm getting from this is, I guess this is going to be for whoever is watching us. Right off the bat, I'm getting is to stand your ground and realize that your voice matters, and to really think about the things that make you happy, and to think about the things that make you you, and to not suppress them anymore, and really be vocal and surround yourself with good things and the people that make you happy and the people that uplift you, and cut out the things that are holding you back and the things that are keeping you from reaching your fullest potential.
Oh, I really love that. Oh, that's so sweet. I really think that was really good. We've talked about some of, if you haven't been part of the live chat, we did talk about a little bit of those topics. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, this is the best. I have worship. Let me go ahead and click the camera on me. Worship. And I have manifest. And then I have ego.
Ooh.
Oh. Oh man. Just look at how pretty that deck is.
It's gorgeous.
I'm kind of one of those goober flubins. I'm like, let's just look at that pretty stack for a second. All right, let me see if I could turn my camera down for a few seconds. Okay, I can balance it there. It's quite literally balancing on my laptop, so we can see this. It's actually a pretty cool balancing trick there. All right. I think for you guys, it will be in this direction, actually. Yeah, that's the direction that you guys would be seeing, I think. So this is the first card. This is worship. And I always find worship is something that you practice to your something you practice with yourself, and something that you practice for the divine. You know, practice for yourself and practice for the divine. Kind of like Tarot Prose does this beautiful tarot blogs with the with the poetry and everything that he does, and that's kind of his way of holding sacred space. And worship is all about holding sacred space for yourself and holding that sacred space and just feeling it in yourself and feeling it rise above you, because butterfly is all about giving birth and spiritual soul awakening. I always find the butterflies always like that spiritual soul awakening. You kind of like that death card, you know, you're just kind of giving birth to yourself and rising above something. So that is something we've been talking about in this live chat as well, a lot of, because Ivan does a lot of that beautiful writing, and we talked about me doing my art too. So that is something I want to encourage everybody who's watching it or going to be rewatching this live chat, is to find that beautiful reawakening of oneself. And if it means doing that living wheel like Patrick from 78 Cards, or I think he's now just Patrick, does, then I encourage you to do that, or just do something that works for you. That was another message that we were saying in our chat today too. And also you should manifest that creative side in yourself too. And this, I think, is from that first edition of the Oracle of Oddities. And I have the first and third edition shuffled in here. And so you should manifest what makes you out there and bring out that beautiful uniqueness. Everybody's a unique little butterfly with his pretty wings. And just let go of that ego, because sometimes we are all ego based when like we have to be a certain something to ourselves or someone else. We have that nasty ego sometimes. I feel like I am egotistic too. And selfish, and like, I don't think this would be good for me, or I don't think that would be good for that person or this person, and whatever. And you just end up sitting there in that nasty space, and you just don't do any good for anything. So release that ego and put that ego aside, and just know that you are, what you do for you and what you manifest in yourself is something that you could give to others, and it's ego free. What you can bring, that beautiful thing that you can bring in yourself, you can bring it to others, and just let go of that ego. And that's the best message that I could give from that Oracle of Oddities today.
Yes.
So I'm hoping I could get my camera back up for a second. I'm still experimenting with this my new camera. This is actually a new web camera. So I'm trying to get familiarized. I might put it on a tripod. I got tripods too.
Yeah, that's what I did with mine.
Yeah, I might put it on a tripod and just put it like right there above my laptop, because I like to make. I know that you are a hands person. You're like Annika from Nobody Here, who only shows hands. Yeah. I know you're a hands person, so but for me, I like to make eye contact with somebody when I'm talking to them.
That's fair, yeah. No, I think, and you have a lovely face, so like. No,
I'm pretty sure you have a lovely face too, but I can't see past there.
Thank you.
You probably do have a lovely face behind all that camera work.
We have to do this again soon.
Oh yeah, we have to. I really enjoyed having you, because I find that I love different people in the tarot community, because it definitely brings out different sides of people. You know, like I find that you bring out like that introspection and that life, universe, and everything kind of thing. Whereas Zach and I, we goof off.
Next time I will be prepared with a whole bunch of decks. Like,
oh yeah, we have to do this next time. We have to do it next time. This is so much fun. I really love getting to know different people and talking to different people in the community. It's just one of my favorite things because I think people are beautiful.
Oh,
people are beautiful. I think you're beautiful. I got to know you more in the past 2 days. He's trying to prepare for this. Aww. And I was like, oh, you know, I was reading some blogs that made me cry, made me smile. It even brings out some of those different things.
Thank you.
So yeah, everybody, you have to read this guy's blogs. All the links are down below. And if you haven't even heard of him, then you need to hear it from him. Because I don't know what kind of tarot closet you've been hiding into. He's in Instagram and everywhere. And he's even for the Love of Cards page. And I think that is also a really great Facebook group. I think if you were
so good.
In my opinion, if you were part of any Facebook group, that is the only one Facebook group that I would say you have to be a part of.
It's a really good group.
It's a really great group of people, and I think people talk about a really great variety of things too in that group. Where I really enjoy Instagram and stuff, but I don't feel like everybody's in the same place sometimes in Instagram.
Yeah. Well, also the problem with Instagram is nothing is chronological anymore. So like I'll get posts like 3 days later, and I'm just like, well, okay.
Yeah, I don't like that either about Facebook, but at least it kind of gives you a notification while you're in the group, something that's semi-chronological.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree too. And then I definitely think that we need a platform that does chronological order a little bit better than it does.
Yeah, we do. We definitely do.
I know that we've some live chats or some people have been talking about that too. You know, like I wish there was a forum or someplace that just does things in chronological order too.
Yeah, that would be good.
I gotta check out whatever. What is it? The chat page or whatever you do.
Oh, so yeah, so I do. I do Rabbit chats. Basically, Rabbit is a live web conferencing service. It's totally free. I do chats every Wednesday and Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. It's basically a whole bunch of tarot people. We just chat, give free readings, talk about new decks. It's a really, really cool place. If you go to my my blog, tarotprose.com/events, you'll find all the chat information there.
I gotta check that out because I might have to do something with me too, because this live chat stuff that I do on YouTube is really great. I feel I really love doing the live chats on YouTube, and everybody knows that. But I really like the interpersonal face-to-face conversations too, and I think that's what it offers, right?
Yeah, it's very intimate. I think you can have up to 25 people at a time, and you have text chat and video. But the good thing is, if you don't have like a webcam or you don't have a microphone, you can just still interact with the text portion of the chat. Also, it's great for people who aren't comfortable being on camera, because I know if you're going to be like on a live stream like this one, it's recorded, right? Unless you say that you don't want it recorded. A lot of people aren't comfortable being recorded, so once the chat is over, poof, it goes away. Like there's like no record of it. So people can be more of themselves without it being recorded, which I think it's nice. Also, it has like really cool features, like you can share YouTube videos, you can watch Netflix with people. So it's really cool.
Oh wow! Wow! I'm gonna have to check that out one of these days. I don't know if I can promise to make every single one of them because I'm on a catch cam basis, and I've had to make some organizing room to schedule something for once. Mm-hmm. I'm usually very random in my chats. If everybody knows that I'm actually pretty random, and I come on when I can. But this was something I had to schedule because I felt, sometimes with guests and stuff, they have their lives too.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So thank you very much, Ivan.
Thank you.
It's been such a pleasure. It's been so fun. I really had a lot of fun, and I hope somebody comes away with this with something.
Yeah, me too. Thank you for having me. We have to do this again. Like I said, if you go to my tarotprose.com/events, you'll see I have the events page until my birthday, which is in February, the end of February. So yeah, just check out the events page and it shows whenever I'm having a chat. And then what happens is on the time of the chat, if you go to my homepage, tarotprose.com, I will actually post like the link so that you can enter the chat.
Very interesting. Well, thank you very much, Ivan.
Right. Bye.
Yeah, bye, everybody. Kisses, hugs.
Thank you.
No problem. All right.